People are overreacting about Lightfall. At least that's my opinion, and here is why people are overreacting so much about the new Destiny 2 expansion. Pretty much, you guys, I was at work today, and it just hit me. At first I didn't know how to feel about the Lightfall campaign, and then I kind of had this, epiphany almost today of, why it is that I actually did enjoy it. And whether you think Lightfall is the worst expansion ever, or you think it's the best thing since Tostino's Pizza Rolls, I think you'll find this take that I have interesting at least, so please stick around for it. Okay, so just a couple quick things at the beginning, right? This is an opinion of mine. I'm not saying that it's a fact, it's just an opinion I feel very strongly about, but I just want you to know, before you call me a Bungie fanboy down in the comments immediately just from the title of the video, you should know that even though I've played Destiny the whole time it's been around, since the beta test, I've not always been like a diehard fan. Vanilla Destiny 2 I wasn't a big fan of. Shadowkeep, Beyond Light. There's been periods that I wasn't playing as actively as I would like to, just because the content wasn't pulling me in. I don't feel that way about Lightfall, okay? And I think one of the big misconceptions about this campaign is the way that the ending is, and just the way that the information about sort of what happens at the end is very sparse. Now, I just took this as it's an ending with a lot of ambiguity. It's an ambiguous ending, similar to stuff like Neon Genesis Evangelion and anime. The ending doesn't really give you the answers necessarily that you were looking for, but it does create an unsettling moment of, spoiler alert, the witness sort of creating, as you can see on the screen, this glowing pyramid shape on the Traveler and basically entering it, and then the Traveler is sort of vanishing from our plane of existence in a way. I think this ending is like this on purpose. It's confusing, sure, but we have to remember that Lightfall, it was advertised as the beginning of the end, right? And that's literally what's happening here. We don't know what's happening yet, but the Witness clearly does, because the Witness did this on purpose. This was clearly the Witness's goal with communicating through the veil, was to gain the ability to do this, to do whatever this may be, whether that be the final shape or what. And the reason that's important is because the Witness is a cosmic entity doing this, unsettling action here, and it doesn't really have to explain itself to us. I mean, if it did explain itself to us, then it would be really hard to understand why for the next year leading up to Final Shape, our Guardians are not doing anything about it, right? So that brings me to my point. Destiny is a live service game. It has to have content for the next year, right? The rest of this season, 3 more seasons after that, a raid, 2 dungeons. There's plenty of post-campaign activities, as well as, more importantly, like I'm talking about, the 3 seasons that are coming in the future, which Bungie has now confirmed on Twitter that yes, in fact, Season of the Deep and the next 2 seasons are going to delve into this. We have to have something to unravel leading into Final Shape. Now you may say, oh, well, how come other expansions didn't up on this? Well, that's because the Witness is literally here in Lightfall. So, if we have an ending that's anything other than ambiguous, meaning anything other than we have to figure out what's going on for the next year, then it would make no sense why we would have unconnected stories that have nothing to do with the Witness leading into Final Shape, because this is literally the coming of the second collapse. This is the most important thing that's happened in Destiny. So, essentially, the seasons have to be connected to it. But at the same time, it has to be a mystery to unsolve, like I was saying, because if it isn't, then it literally wouldn't work. Right? Do you see what I'm saying? I hope my words are making sense. What I'm getting across is, this is like the only option they had, in my opinion, or at least it seems that way to me. There has to be something to work towards for the next year that is related to the witness without actually being confronting the witness, because that is what Final Shape is going to be about. I'm certain of that. So all in all, I actually think it makes a lot of sense, and I found the ending to be very unsettling, and it makes me excited about unraveling what's coming next. And I just think, look, I'll be honest here. I'll speak candidly. I think it was very immature how certain big YouTubers, and definitely the community at large online, at least the ones who are vocal, they have really slandered the narrative team and been extremely critical, Bungie doesn't know how to tie up loose ends or tell a proper story now. When this is a live service game, they're going to have this entire year to tell this story leading into Final Shape. The story's not done. I didn't expect the story to be done. I mean, yes, is it more ambiguous than previous? Yes. Is the campaign as good as Witch Queen's? Probably not. But Witch Queen also had several, the entirety of Destiny building up Hive Gods as a payoff, working on its side. We have this new villain, the Witness, we don't know anything about, but we also are in a position where we can't learn too much, because if we do, there will be nothing to talk about for the next 3 seasons. And that's the difficulty of doing a narrative in a live service game, and I applaud Bungie for even trying, to be honest, and they don't always get it right, but I actually feel like Lightfall was not this big misstep like people are talking about. I mean, the reviews are significantly worse than Beyond Light, and I think that's absurd. I mean, I enjoyed this campaign way more than Beyond Light, if I'm being honest. Okay, so that's sort of what I'm thinking about the story. I think we'll get answers about the Veil. I think we'll get answers about what the heck the ending was. It's just not right now, because we have to have something to do in the next several seasons. So let's just be patient and calm down a little bit. That's the part I'm talking about. That's the title of the video, Overreacting. It's not so much that criticism is completely unfounded. It's more like the things that they're saying and being like, oh, we don't have faith in Bungie anymore to tell a story. Like, the whole franchise is going to fall apart, even though there's the most players we've ever had. That is overreacting, because we don't know where this is going yet, and we have to stick around. That's the nature of this game. You would think people would have gotten that by now. And this year is different than last year. This year is different than any year in that it's the final year leading up to the end of this 10-year saga. So they have to be very careful with what all they reveal, because everything has to sort of lead up to that moment without revealing too much. So I get it. I understand what they were going for. Now, that's the story stuff. That's definitely the part people are overreacting about. And I feel like people are just totally like, okay, right. The unfounding unfounding faith in Bungie, like the losing faith in Bungie to tell a proper story because basically the Veil isn't explained good enough, is a terrible overreaction. And I'll bring this up, right? What did we learn more about in Lightfall? We learned that Nezarec is in fact coming back. He's likely, almost guaranteed at this point, to be the raid boss, or at least be in the game in some way. He's already talked, so he's literally all in the game now. And what happened last year? What happened during Season of Plunder last year? Oh yeah, exactly what's happening right now. People overreacted about Season of Plunder and said, oh my god, they turned Nezarec into a cup of coffee, into a tea, into the Nez Cafe. This is ridiculous. We're never going to see, Nezarec again. This feels like a waste of a character. And now he's probably going to be a raid boss. So, like, they're not going to hit it right every time, but you need to at least give them a chance, right? If at the end of this year, right before Final Shape, we still don't know anything about the Veil or about the ending of the campaign, then maybe you'll have a legitimate concern. But right now, I just don't think it's well-founded, because of the nature of what Destiny is, and because ambiguous endings can be done, in different forms of media, and it's okay. It's all right sometimes. That said, I wanted to bring up that comparison about Season of Plunder. I'm just looking through my notes here. So, yes, people have been wrong about that before. A lot of the same people who are reacting about this. I also wanted to mention that, when it comes to Strand's role and the Cloud Striders, two other big problems people have with the campaign, I want to remind you that Bungie did say it was going to be like an action movie in a way, this campaign. And gameplay-wise, I definitely think they pulled it off. And whether or not you liked the way that Strand was woven into the narrative, I agree that was my biggest gripe with the campaign. It was a little bit too involved. But you've got to respect the decision to do so in a way because the flamboyant Strand subclass definitely plays into what they were trying to accomplish with the action movie type of stuff. And so did the Cloud Striders. I agree. Rohan's death was a little predictable. But at the end of the day, is that really the worst thing? Like, it being a little predictable doesn't necessarily mean that it was a waste of a character or anything. I mean, it was okay. It was all right. It wasn't the worst experience I've ever had in a video game, which is how people are talking. I also think it's important to remember that gameplay-wise, UI-wise, all the quality of life updates in Lightfall were amazing. I mean, the campaign felt awesome to play. Strand is a lot of fun, though I haven't had time to fully delve into it yet. I definitely still like Void more, for Hunter at least, but it's still fun. And the UI changes and loadouts being added, I mean, God, they're amazing. A commendation system, the new end quest screen, and again, loadouts, big time. These are all huge quality of life changes that really lift this expansion up big time. And it's like everybody's forgotten that we're in a video game and that changes like this matter. I mean, that's a huge part of the expansion and why I was excited. I don't know if you feel the same way, but... So there's that. I don't want to hark on the gameplay part too much because the story was the big reason that everybody was feeling the way that they were feeling about it, from what I could tell. It not being the best expansion doesn't mean it's bad, right? It's a setup. It's a setup for the next expansion. It's a setup for these seasons because they basically have all year to tell the story they were trying to tell so that final shape makes sense. So to me, the ambiguous ending, what you see on your screen here, it made sense to me as to why they did it. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make. Just because it's not Forsaken or the Taken King doesn't mean that it's bad. I still think it's a fantastic expansion. It's definitely in the top 5 for Destiny. I can easily, comfortably say that. I can comfortably say it's in the top 5. Maybe even top 4. Look, I want to end with this, my fellow Guardians, okay? Make your own judgment, right? If you disagree with me, that's fine. But just make sure that if you disagree with me, it's because you disagree with me, not because big YouTubers disagree. I almost posted a video like this during Season of Plunder about the Nezarec thing. And it's funny, I wish I would have, because now that's come full circle and that was an overreaction. And some people have even admitted that. But I just get really tired of seeing I gotta be honest, some of the really large YouTubers just and I'm not trying to call anyone out here. I mean, I'm a small channel. They probably won't even see it. But it's just constant negativity. It feels like overreaction. It's just it's not constructive criticism. It just sounds like whining. And I gotta say, I'm kind of over it. Right? I'm over it. And I'm sure many of you are too. If you're part of the silent group that's enjoying Lightfall, why don't you comment down below? Right? Because I just want to know that you're out there. Because I'm having a blast with it too. At this point, just enjoy it if you're enjoying it. And if you don't enjoy it, don't enjoy it. If you have criticism because you want the game to be better, make it. But just make it in a nice, professional manner. Don't, record yourself too late after you're tired and sound grumpy or something like that. So, that's all I'm saying. Don't think it's bad because YouTubers think so. Don't think it's good just because I say so. Make your own opinion, and hopefully you found something informational that will maybe, give you a new outlook, or at least show you that other people have different outlooks here in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're enjoying Lightfall out there. If you're not enjoying Lightfall, I hope you're enjoying some other games out there. I know I love Monster Hunter right now. So, thank you for liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. And yeah, I hope this doesn't fall on completely deaf ears. This was unscripted. I just had some notes to go over, so hopefully it made sense and I didn't just repeat myself a million times. But even if I did, maybe I was just hammering that point home, right? Lightfall is not as bad as everyone says. It's definitely an overreaction, and really it's an oversimplification of what a Destiny expansion and a year in Destiny amounts to. So let's give them a little more time before we start hitting the panic button, okay? Thanks for watching. Autobot Dawson, rolling out.